Oh man, where do I even start with this one? I still can't believe it happened to me, but here I am, spilling it all out, because if I don't talk about it, it'll just eat me up inside. Picture this, I'm sitting on my couch one evening, kids finally tucked in after a long day, and my phone buzzes with a text from my mom. I open it up, expecting maybe some family update or a quick check, but instead, it's this gut punch. Don't come to the weddings. You and your kids just make things awkward. Boom. Just like that. No explanation, no softening the blow. Just straight up disinviting me from my own sister's big day. My heart dropped into my stomach, and I sat there staring at the screen, tears blurring my eyes, wondering how my own mother could say something so cruel. Was I wrong for what I did next? Tell me in the comments. Would you have let it slide, or would you have fought back like I did? Let me take you back to the beginning, distance, because this didn't just come out of nowhere. Growing up, my family was what you'd call picture. Perfect on the outside, but behind closed doors, it was a whole different story. I was the older sister, born in a small town in the Midwest where everyone knew everyone's business. My mom, let's call her Diane, was the queen of appearances. She volunteered at church, hosted perfect holiday dinners, and made sure our house looked like it belonged in a magazine. My dad worked long hours as a mechanic, so he wasn't around much, leaving Mom to rule the roost. Then there was my little sister Emily, who came along 3 years after me. From the moment she was born, it was like the sun rose and set on her. Emily was the golden child. Blonde curls, big blue eyes, always saying the right thing at the right time. Me, I was the difficult one, the one who asked too many questions, got into scrapes at school, and didn't fit the mold of the perfect daughter. As kids, Emily and I were close at first. We'd play dress up in the backyard, pretending we were princesses in a castle, or we'd sneak cookies from the kitchen when Mom wasn't looking. But as we got older, the favoritism started to show. Mom would praise Emily for every little thing. Oh, Emily, your drawing is so beautiful. While mine got a quick, that's nice, dear, before being shoved aside. In high school, I was the rebel, dyed my hair black, joined the drama club, dated the wrong boys. Emily was the cheerleader, straight-A student, dating the quarterback. Mom would beam at her report cards and scold me for my B's, saying things like, "Why can't you be more like your sister?" It stung, but I brushed it off, thinking that's just how families are. Dad tried to balance it out when he was home, giving me extra hugs and telling me I was his firecracker, but he passed away from a heart attack when I was 18, right before I left for college. That loss hit us all hard, but Mom leaned even more into Emily, like she was her lifeline. I went off to community college on a scholarship, studying graphic design because I loved creating things that told stories. That's where I met my ex-husband, Jake. He was charming, funny, with this infectious laugh that made everything feel lighter. We dated for 2 years, got married young, at 21, and I thought I'd finally escape the shadow of my family's expectations. We moved to a bigger city about 2 hours away, and soon after, our first kid came along, little Maya, with her dad's curly hair and my stubborn streak. 2 years later, we had Ben, our energetic boy who never stopped moving. Life was chaotic but good. I freelanced from home, Jake worked in sales, and we built this little family unit that felt solid. But cracks started showing. Jakey's job had him traveling a lot, and rumors trickled in. Late nights, work dinners. That smelled like perfume. I confronted him, and it all came out. He'd been cheating with a coworker for months. The divorce was messy, drawn out over a year, with custody battles and lawyer fees that drained our savings. Distance. I ended up with primary custody of the kids, and Jake moved across the state, seeing them every other weekend when he bothered to show up. Through all that, Mom was distant. She'd call and ask about the kids, but her advice was always laced with judgment. Well, if you'd chosen a better man. Or Emily would never let this happen. Emily, meanwhile, was thriving. She'd gone to a fancy university on a full ride, majored in business, and landed a high-paying job in marketing. She met her fiancé, Alex, at work. He's this polished guy from a wealthy family, with a trust fund and a summer house. They got engaged last year, and the wedding planning kicked off in full force. Mom was over the moon helping pick out dresses, venues, the works. I was happy for Emily, really. I sent congrats texts. Offered to help with invitations since I'm good with design. But there was always this undercurrent. At family gatherings, Mom would fuss over Emily and Alex, while my kids and I got sidelined. Mia and Ben are rambunctious. Mia's 8 now, loves drawing like me, and Ben's 6, all energy and questions. They're kids, you know. They spill things, laugh loud, but they're polite and loving. Yet Mom would sigh and say, "Can't you keep them quieter?" Or, "Emily's wedding needs to be perfect. No distractions." The invitation came in the mail 6 months ago. This elegant cream card with gold lettering Emily and Alex's wedding at a fancy vineyard estate. I RSVP'd yes for me and the kids, excited to dress up and celebrate. I even bought Mia a pretty flower girl dress, thinking maybe she'd get to participate. But as the date approached, set for a beautiful fall weekend, things got weird. Mom called less, and when she did, it was all about how stressful. The planning was tense. How Emily wanted everything just so. I offered to help again, but she brushed me off. Then, 2 weeks before the wedding, that text hit. "Don't come to the weddings. You and your kids just make things awkward." I read it over and over, my hands shaking. Awkward? What did that even mean? Was it because I'm divorced? Because my kids aren't from some picture, perfect nuclear family? Or was it deeper, like I've always been the black sheep, the one who doesn't fit her ideal image? I called her immediately, but she didn't pick up. Left a voicemail, "Mom, what the hell?" No response. Then I texted Emily, "Hey, Mom just told me not to come." "What's going on?" She replied hours later, "Sorry, sis, but yeah, it's probably for the best. The guest list is tight, and Alex's family is conservative. Your situation might raise questions." My situation. Like being a single mom is some scandal. I felt rage boiling up, mixed with hurt that cut deep. These were my blood relatives, the people supposed to have my back. I paced the living room that night, kids asleep upstairs, tears streaming down my face. Memories flooded back, of Christmases where Emily got the bigger gifts, of Mom defending her in every argument, of me always feeling like I had to prove myself. Jake's betrayal had already shattered my trust in people, and now this. It was like being kicked when I was down. The next day, I tried calling Mom again. This time, she answered, her voice clipped. "What do you want?" I demanded an explanation. She sighed dramatically. "Look, honey, it's Emily's day. We don't need drama. Your divorce is still fresh in people's minds, and the kids, well, they're a handful. Alex's parents are old school. They might not understand. It's just easier if you stay home." "Easier for who?" I pressed her. "So you're ashamed of me? Of your grandkids?" She paused, then said, "It's not like that. But yes, it could make things awkward. Conversations might turn to why Jake isn't there, or why you're alone. We want the focus on the happy couple." I was stunned. "Mom, I'm family. This is my sister's wedding." She just repeated, "Please understand. I'll send pictures." And hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, feeling like the ground had opened up. Mia wandered in, rubbing her eyes. "Mummy, why are you crying?" I hugged her tight, promising everything was fine, but inside, I was breaking. That night, I barely slept. Replaying every family moment, seeing the patterns I'd ignored. Mom had always prioritized Emily. Paid for her college, but not mine. Threw her a huge sweet 16 while I got a cake at home. Even after Dad died, she clung to Emily like she was the only one who mattered. And now, excluding me from the weddings. It was the final straw. But what could I do? Crash the event, beg to be included. No, that wasn't me. I needed something that would make them feel the sting, show them they couldn't just erase me. Over the next few days, I confided in my best friend, Sarah. We'd been tight since college, and she was furious on my behalf. "That's toxic," she said. "You deserve better." We brainstormed, and that's when the idea hit: share the story. Not just vent to friends, but put it out there publicly. I'm active on social media, Instagram, Facebook, even a small TikTok where I post about mom life and design tips. I have a few thousand followers, nothing huge but enough. So I drafted a post, a screenshot of Mom's text, blurred names for privacy, with a caption explaining the hurt, the favoritism, the exclusions. This is what family looks like sometimes, I wrote. Hurt, but healing, thoughts. Sarah encouraged me, do it. They need to see the consequences. But I hesitated. Was this revenge, or just truth-telling? I thought about my kids. Mia and Ben didn't deserve to be called awkward. They were innocent in this. Finally, I hit post on Instagram first, then shared to Facebook. It blew up faster than I expected. Friends commented in shock. That's awful. You're better off without them. Strangers shared similar stories of family drama. By the next morning, it had hundreds of likes, shares spreading it wider. Then Emily texted, "What the hell? Take that down." Mom called, screaming, "How dare you air our dirty laundry? You're ruining the wedding!" I stayed calm. You ruined it first by excluding us. She hung up, but the damage was done. Alex's family saw it. Apparently, a cousin followed me, and questions started flying their way. As the wedding approached, the fallout intensified. Emily unfriended me online. Mom stopped all contact. But weirdly, I felt lighter. My followers rallied around me, sending messages of support that boosted my spirits. I spent the wedding weekend with the kids at a local pumpkin patch instead, carving jack-o' lanterns and making memories. Mia asked why we weren't going to Aunt Emily's party, and I explained gently. Sometimes grown-ups have disagreements, but we have our own fun. Ben just cared about the candy. So that's the situation I was in, caught between hurt and anger, deciding whether to stay silent or speak out. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below. What would you have done in my shoes? Would you have posted online, confronted them in person, or just let it go? Hit that pause button if you need to think about it, because the next part gets even wilder. Okay, ready? A week after the wedding, I got a flood of messages from extended family. Turns out, the ceremony went off without a hitch. Beautiful vows, champagne toasts. But the reception was buzzing with whispers about my post. Alex's conservative parents cornered Mom, asking why she'd exclude her own daughter and grandkids. Is there something we should know? They probed, making her squirm. Emily spent her honeymoon fielding texts instead of relaxing. Then, a cousin on Dad's side reached out to me. We saw your post. We're sorry, we had no idea. It opened up old wounds, apparently. Many in the family had noticed Mom's favoritism, but stayed quiet. Mom finally called 2 weeks later, voice trembling. "You've humiliated us," she said. "I didn't back down. You humiliated me first. Excluding your grandkids because they're awkward. That's not love." We talked for hours, first yelling, then crying. She admitted the pressure from Emily and Alex's family had gotten to her. "I didn't want any scenes," she confessed. "But I was wrong. It wasn't a full apology. More like regret mixed with defensiveness, but it was a start." Emily followed up with a text. "I miss you. Can we talk?" We met halfway at a coffee shop a month later. She looked exhausted, admitting the wedding stress amplified everything. Alex's mom is judgmental. I panicked about questions. We hugged it out, but trust was fractured. In the aftermath, things shifted. Mom started calling more, asking about the kids without size. She even visited for Maya's birthday, bringing gifts and playing games without complaint. Emily and I are rebuilding slowly. Video calls, sharing pics of her honeymoon, which was gorgeous, by the way. Jake, hearing the drama, stepped up his dad game, taking the kids more often. My social media grew from the post. I started a series on toxic family dynamics, helping others feel less alone. It turned pain into purpose. Looking back, that text was a wake-up call. Families aren't perfect, and sometimes you have to stand up for yourself to change the dynamic. The moral: don't let anyone make you feel like you or your loved ones are awkward. You're worthy just as you are. If this story resonated, like the video if you were on my side in calling them out. Subscribe for more real, life dramas like this. I promise, they've got twists that'll keep you hooked. And share your thoughts in the comments. Was I too harsh, or just right? I'll see you all in the next story.